So welcome back to the podcast, guys. Today we're joined with Matthew Winter. He's a goalkeeper coach for Woking. Please could you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi guys. My name's Matt. I'm the first team and the academy goalkeeper coach at Woking Football Club in the National League. So my role is to coach and look after the goalies from the first team all the way down to our under 9s. So we have a setup from under 9s through to under 23s as well. So that's my role, to sort of be the head goalkeeper coach, look after those guys and support the first team goalkeepers at training and in matches as well.
George, do you want to get started?
Yeah, sure. So you're a coach. Is that something you were looking at to as a child?
Not really. I think that everyone has that sort of dream. They want to be a footballer, I guess. Growing up, I played football for local teams and trialled at various academies. When I was 16, I was lucky enough to sign for Woking in their academy programme, which I now coach on, which I spent 2 good years there. Unfortunately, I wasn't good enough, so I sort of made a decision that I had to leave and try something different. So I went to university. I was in 2 minds really whether I wanted to do something in sport, whether it was going to be coaching or maybe teaching. So I did a degree, which gave me the opportunity to sort of learn more about the coaching side, but also teaching as well. Had some good sort of experiences to go and coach and teach, and decided, I really like coaching, and that's sort of what I wanted to do.
Go on, Jake.
At what point was it when you got when you realised you wasn't good enough to play football? Was that when you realised you wanted to be a coach?
I always wanted to work in sport in some capacity. I love sport, not just football, but I always played various sports at school, outside of school, growing up. So sport was my love. That's what I wanted to do. I guess. So I was at Woking for 2 years, which was great for me. There was a lot of good players there, and a lot of good players have come through the academy, and maybe ability-wise, I wasn't quite up to the level, but also I'd look back and say that maybe I didn't work as hard as I could have. In my football, did I train as hard? Did I do all the things that maybe I'm telling boys that they need to do now? So that's something I maybe look back on. But once I wasn't going to play football for a living, so I wanted to stay in sport, and coaching was a great opportunity to do that.
Would you say that your family was a sporty family?
Yeah, massively. I've got two younger brothers. One of them played for a couple of academies as a goalkeeper themselves. The other one is a cricketer. So my parents always pushed us to, well, not pushed us, we wanted to do it, but to play sport. We've all played football for various sort of local clubs, and say some of us have played in academies at different sports. So yeah, we are very much a sporty family.
Was you always a goalkeeper?
I wasn't, no. I played probably till I was maybe 11 or 12. I used to play up front. I was a striker, not bad. Scored quite a few goals, and then I think my younger brother played in goal before me, so he was a goalkeeper. I was more of a striker. We played each other. He's only a couple of years younger than me, but I always liked going in goal. I enjoyed that when we played down the park or with our friends. I liked going in goal. I think it was our Sunday team. The goalie didn't turn up one week, and I went in goal, and that was the end of it. I did well in goal, and I stayed in goal for that was probably about 3 or 4 years before I then went and signed for Woking.
Jake,
let's keep going.
Was there any was that a massive setback when you decided that you wasn't good enough to play as a first team keeper?
Not really. I think over the 2 years I was there, it was sort of, you could sort of understand why maybe they weren't keen to keep me on, or maybe I wasn't good enough. That I still played after I left Woking. I trained with a few different clubs. I played while I was at university, and the standard was pretty good, and they played in quite a good league. So I still played a bit more, but it was sort of, as I say, maybe I didn't work hard enough. Maybe it wasn't at the time. It wasn't the right thing for me, and had to try something different. Maybe a new challenge.
Jake?
Was you released from Woking, or did you take it upon yourself to leave?
Yeah, I suppose it was released. It was a conversation of the season. What are your plans to do? And by then, I'd already sort of decided that I wanted to go to university, but I don't think there was much probably for me if I was to stay. So yeah, it was a release, but it was also at the same time I'd sort of had things in place that this is what I wanted to go and do now. I'd finished my college and I wanted to sort of further my education and work in sport.
So we're gonna move on to the Woking Academy. And what would you say the academy look for in a goalkeeper?
I don't think there's anything set that we're really looking for in a goalkeeper. First thing you've probably got to realise is that we're quite far down the pyramid. So, when we're saying we're looking for a goalie who can do X, Y, Z, if they're that good a goalkeeper, 9 times out of 10 they've probably been picked up by an academy further up the pyramid, whether it's a football league club or Premier League club. So. Our first thing is we try and look for local goalkeepers because we are a smaller club. We are very much a community club, and that's pushed by our first team manager. So we want to look for local talent. It depends on the age group really, but we look for the philosophy of the academy as such is is the modern day football. Can our goalies be good with the ball at their feet? That's something that obviously is quite prominent. And it's a big talking point at the minute, and will be going forward. If you look at the Premier League goalies, the top ones are extremely good with the ball at their feet. So I think we don't really have a set thing. This is what you must do, because I think otherwise you might lose out on goalkeepers who are good at other aspects of their game. So we don't sort of have one of you must be able to do this or you must be able to do that. We're quite open in the goalkeepers we look at. We do get offered. Goalkeepers that unfortunately have been released from a professional club or a club higher up that are looking to get in a bit lower down. So we have links with clubs like that where we might bring in boys. For example, we brought in a boy 2 years ago who was released from AFC Wimbledon, and he's done really well for us, and he's moving into our under-18s this summer, which is great. But at the same time, we also have other local boys that have maybe played Saturday and Sunday league football, or and come to us and pushed on and progressed. One example, we had a boy who come in and played 3 games in the National League at only 17, and he was only really playing local football until he signed with us. So you get boys of all different types of boys, and I say in terms of what we're looking for, we're very much open in what we want for our goalkeepers.
George?
So you're the main Woking goalkeeper coach and also the academy. Do you think that helps you if you move someone from the academy to the main team?
Yeah, I think it's good for the academy because there is that. It shows there's a pathway and there's a link. I know that Scott relays, especially to the under-18s, that I'm in the under-18s training. I'm watching what they're doing, and anything that I see is good, I can relay onto the first team, not just for goalkeepers but for outfield players as well. All of our academy goalies get to experience training with the first team because I think that's key. That's something that I'm very keen on, and it's easy to do because obviously I'm in charge of both roles. So it's great that I'm able to sort of do both roles, and as I say, it is a really good link to bring boys forward.
Jake?
Keep going.
Have you the players? Do you get hard to turn down players? Is that your job or is that more Scott's job?
In terms of the goalies, I think Scott gives me sort of a chance to sort of look at the recruitment side of things. When we're looking at under-18s, as I said, sometimes we get offered boys from professional clubs, or we go to exit trials and we look at boys there. But at the same time, we look at the best local talent around and see what boys are interested in coming on board. There's quite a few different academies that run like ourselves locally, so sometimes there's a bit of rivalry there where boys maybe are trialing at different clubs. But in the local area, I've got quite good knowledge of the goalkeepers that are playing in their local teams or whatnot. A lot of them train with me outside of the stuff we do at Woking, so you get to know who's the good goalies, who's the ones that you want to have around. And I say, once we run our trial sessions, boys come along, and it's quite clear sometimes to see, their goalie Scott will be pretty good with me, and he'll sort of take my sort of advice on signing goalies as such. But at the same time, Scott will deal with the communications and getting a boy tied up to come on board with the program.
Do you think your friendship with Scott helps like the job?
Yeah, we have a good relationship. I feel I have a good relationship with all the coaches that I work with in the academy and in the first team. I think you have to have that strong relationship. We spend a lot of time chatting on the phone, or obviously not seeing each other in person at the moment. But yeah, I mean, Scott brought me to the club probably about 4 or 5 seasons ago. So I owe a lot to him, and I think we have a good relationship. On not just football but away from football, and yeah, I think that probably helps. There's a trust there, and similarly with the first team, with the manager Alan Delson has been great for me since he brought me in with the first team. So you have that relationship. There's that trust there, and it works both ways. They always ask me, they'll ask me for advice or my opinions on the goalkeepers. Sometimes they don't take that. That's fine. But they will always ask me, what I think, or what suggest on maybe bringing a player in, or what, or other things like that. Yeah.
Is it hard to build like relationships with even the goalkeepers? Because obviously you need a good relationship there.
You get to know them over time. A lot of the boys that we have currently in our academy have been around for quite a while. We've got a couple of new boys coming in with the under-18s, but we've used this time during the sort of the lockdown period to speak like we are now on a Zoom call, get to know them, ask them questions, find out about them on the pitch, but also off the pitch. It's important that you build a relationship that, so you know about them, and there'll be days where they'll come into training and they might be, they've had a tough day at college, for example, or it's taken them quite a while to travel in, or they've had other things going on in their life, and they've got feel that they can trust me to maybe let me know these things, or understand what's going on in their life as well. So look, it takes time, of course, to build relationships. That's why we're very keen to bring goalies in and keep them with us a long time. The current under-18s goalies have been with the club for one of them for 2 years, one of them's been here for 4 or 5 years. So we have good relationships. Similarly with the first team, the first team goalie at the minute, Craig Ross, he's the number one. He's been at the club now for 18 months, coming up to 2 years. So we build that. We have a good relationship. We chat often. But again, if a new goalie comes in, it's important you get to know them, and that's part of the job. Not just what you do when you're on the training pitch, but how you work with them away from the training pitch.
Do you class football as a job?
It is my job. It is my job, because if I didn't earn from it, then But it is a fantastic job to have. It is like a hobby. It's not a 9 till 5 or or Monday to Friday job. It's something that you're involved in all the time. I could be taking calls, late Friday night, early Sunday morning, or dealing with. I generally work 7 days a week coaching, whether it's stuff through the football club or my own personal stuff. So. But yeah, it's a 9 times out of 10. It's a pleasure to go to work, and you get to work with loads of goalkeepers who are keen and want to learn and improve, and it makes obviously the job so much easier.
Jake,
you said earlier that sometimes the club goes to exit trials. What's it like going to the exit trial as a coach, like knowing that you could be able to find someone with talent?
Yeah, it's always interesting. Obviously, the exit trials we go to are generally boys from football league clubs that have been told they wouldn't be getting a scholar for when they finish school. So there's always a lot of boys there keen to impress. Sometimes it's quite hard to, definitely when I look at the goalkeepers, it's quite hard to impress in maybe a few matches, because maybe you're on a team they're a good team and you don't get a lot to do. So that makes it quite hard. But at the same time, you're always keen, and again, you're fighting against probably lots of other clubs that are sort of looking at the similar players, and it's about what you can offer as a club. and where you think you could take this player. So they're good to go to. They're always great to go to and see what is out there and what potentially players you can bring into the club. Yeah.
So we're going to move on to your business, MGW goalkeeping. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So MGW coaching I've been running since 2013. At the time, I wasn't with the football club, so I worked before that with a goalkeeper coach who is working in the championship at the minute. He deals with the under-23s there, and he was great for me because he first of all got me some work. So I was working with goalkeepers regularly and just starting to learn more about the coaching, and I took my coaching badges. And then I decided that, I want to do something for myself. So I started up MGW coaching. We started just running small group sessions and some private one-to-one tuition, and slowly we built up. So, there's two of us that coach there now, myself and Callum, who is also a goalie coach at the football club. He works with the younger ages as sort of an assistant role to myself. But yeah, we run weekly goalkeeper centres in Woking, in Basingstoke. We work with a lot of private goalkeepers each week doing private lessons. We work in a couple of schools delivering some football sessions as well. So it's not just goalkeeping. But yeah, that's where it comes from. It works well with the stuff I do with Woking. Obviously, Woking aren't a full-time team, so we're not training every day. The academy is more full-time than the first team. The academy train probably 3 or 4 times a week. So it sort of balances out into a full-time job with the work I do with MGW coaching, and also the work I do with the football club.
Would you say that MGW coaching helps you finding players for Woking?
Yeah, it has done. It has done in the past. Yeah. There's a number of players that have come through, even boys that have gone to the first team. Last year we had Christian, who sat on the bench for the first team a few times, played in a cup game. He come to me probably 6-8 months previous, just working as just private goalkeeper lessons. He was 25 at the time and hadn't played for a few years and wanted to get back up and start doing some training. So he trained with me for a while. We'd done really well. I invited him in with the first team, and then he got signed off the back of that. So it does happen. Sometimes I get goalkeepers come to me with the wrong. Sometimes you get them with the wrong sort of message. They want to come in and because they want to be signed by Woking, so they think if I work with you on a private basis, then there's more chance of getting signed. That's not the case, and I have to have separate. For my Woking stuff must be separate from MGW coaching, but it allows me to see a lot of local goalkeepers, and as I said before, that helps certainly with our recruitment.
Well, how does it make you feel as a goalkeeper coach when a goalkeeper gets called up for the first team?
Yeah, that is the aim. That is the aim. That's my job for all the academy staff to bring boys forward when they're ready. I like to give them, as I said, a taster of what the first team's like. So they first of all they know the level they've got to be at, but also so that they can go away and work harder and improve and make sure. Some of them might think, I'm ready for the first team, but actually they're not. So that's what I like to do. But again, it's the best when you can get a goal in, they go through, or they go on and sign for a bigger club. That's your job to develop and improve a goalkeeper for the first team.
You regularly see players that get into the first team and then they instantly just drop back down because they think they've got into the first team, so they've done it.
Yeah, I think for any player, if you're an academy player, certainly all the boys in our academy, their aim is to be a first team player, whether it's at Woking Football Club or another football club. But once you're in there, it's got to be, now I've got to work harder, not the hard work is done. Because you've got to then start building a career, prove that you should be there, and that you can play, not just be around the training group and maybe sit on the bench, but you can be a player who's going to come onto the pitch and impact a game. It might be you need to go and get a loan somewhere else, and that's even what we're doing now at the minute with one of our goalies, trying to find a loan move for him for the upcoming season whenever it starts, because he needs to go and prove that he can play men's football every week. the academy football is very different from what you'll see on a Saturday afternoon. So it's important that the boys get those experiences. But yeah, that's. Yeah.
George?
Do you have to build like a friendship with not just goalkeepers, but with like the other members of the squad?
Yeah, not so much a friendship, because ultimately you're the coach and they're your players, but you've got to sort of know what the players are about. My role with the academy is slightly different to maybe some other goalie coaches, where I just work with them on a training basis. So I take their training sessions, the under 18s, say 3 or 4 times a week, but I'm not always at their games. So I spoke to you about earlier, the Callum, my other goalie coach, he takes them for game days. So I spent a lot of time sort of working in that small group with the goalkeepers of 4 or 5 of them, and then obviously we go on to our team-based sessions within the training session. So you need to know the players. You need to certainly know what they do, positions a bit. Are they right-footed, strong-footed? Because then that's information that you'll pass on to the goalkeepers. They need to know that information as well. So you must know it. And then it's really having an understanding of trying to get an understanding of how everyone wants to play, or how each player plays, their strengths, their weaknesses. That's something that we talk to all the goalkeepers about. They need to know. They need to know if their right back today is for whoever player, what are their strengths? Are they good going forward? Are you going to play out to them? Are they going to be confident on the ball? So you need to know about players, certainly. I wouldn't use the word maybe friendship, because ultimately you could be the one in a year or 2 years' time telling them that actually they're not good enough, and that they're gonna move on to another club. So you've got to have that coach-player relationship for sure, but you need to be able to speak and be confident and know what the players are about.
Do you do a lot of work with Dals?
Yeah, I work with Dals. So on the first team train Tuesday and Thursday. So I'm working with him those evenings. Obviously our games are on a Saturday as well. So that's the main contact time we have together. I try and get into the office as much as possible. We sit down and chat, and it might be about recruitment. It might be how the game's gone, what our plans are for training. We have lots of chats about that. I try and pop in the office on the day of training just to make sure I know what's going to happen in the evening. I can plan my sessions accordingly. I work closely with Douse and Ian Dyer, the assistant manager, just to make sure that we're all on the same page with what we're doing, what we're saying. If players speak to me, am I relaying the same information that the manager or the assistant manager is relaying? We've all got to be on the same sort of hymn sheet as such, saying the same thing. So yeah, I have a good. Work with Douse quite a bit. Speak to him just only this morning. Just checked in. At the minute, everything's up in the air. We don't know what we're doing with regards to next year. So we're just hopefully, in the next sort of weeks and months, things will come a little bit clearer and we can start planning ahead for the new season.
Do you have to change your coaching depending on the game that Woking have then on the Saturday?
Yeah, the sessions will change. Typically, we get our 2 sessions a week if we only have one game. So if we play on a Saturday, we'll train on a Tuesday night. And that session will be based around working the goalkeepers. Depending on how the game was on Saturday, we might look at a couple of things that maybe we need to correct, any things that I've noticed from the game or the goalkeepers themselves will notice. And then Thursday, we sort of have a session where we're looking at the opposition a little bit more. So it might be we decide that the opposition put lots of crosses in the box. So we're going to prepare by working on some cross-taking. And then we'll work with the team on the rest of the stuff. We're building on maybe a shape and the formation that we're going to play for the weekend. So training sessions will depend on who we're playing. It becomes really difficult when we have a game on a Tuesday as well. So we play Saturday and we won't see the players again until Tuesday night. So we haven't trained on the Monday and we've gone from one game to another. So that becomes difficult, and then you only have one training session in the week. So it sometimes can be tough, but we have to have a clear plan of what we want to do for each game, and try and give that information to the players and show them on the training pitch as well.
Do you think if the club went full time that would help with coaching?
Yeah, massively. The contact time would increase, so we'd probably see the players, double the amount of time that we currently do. It would allow us to work on other things. It would allow us to be maybe a little bit more in depth with what we do. The full time would certainly allow us to. Well, we've competed really well this year, so we'd like to think if we did go full time, there's no reason why we can't kick on and really push on as a club. Will we attract different players possibly because of the full time model is very different to the part time. But for me as a coach, it would be great to have that more time with the goalkeepers for sure.
Jake,
what advice would you give a young goalkeeper?
To play games, to play as many games as they can. Whether you're young at 7, 8, 9, 10 and you've always been a goalie, or maybe someone like myself who came into goalkeeping a bit later on after playing on pitch, it's to play as many games as possible. You can never replicate what you're going to get in a game. Every situation is, you can try your best, and we all do as coaches. We want to replicate what might happen in a game, but play games, because situations and scenarios happen that you'd never ever thought of before. The experience comes from playing matches. You can train as much as you want. I work with a lot of goalies that will train sort of 4 or 5 times a week. But if you're not playing matches, then what are you training for? You've got to really go out and play different games. Can you, especially the older as you get into the academy, can you play academy games? Can you go and play some senior games as well? Sample different types of football. Also, I think. And I've heard another goalkeeper coach say the other day, maybe try and sample loads of different coaches. I say it to all my goalies. People say to me, why would you try and tell your goalie to go with another coach? Because it's your job. But at the same time, it's important that you learn from different people. You pick up different things from working with different people, and not just the same people all the time. So I think, play as many games, try and play as many games as you can, whether it's school, Sunday teams, whether you're able to work hard to get yourself into an academy environment, and then work with as many people, ask questions. That's how you're going to improve.
Is it hard to do your job right now as a goalkeeper coach? What are you doing at this time?
Yeah, it has been. It's been really tough, I'll be honest. And the first 3 weeks of lockdown was not good for me, and I really sort of struggled with the fact that I was not really going out of the house. I was not meeting. And being with the people that I like being around the first team and the squad, the management. We have a good rapport, not just when we're away from the football pitch, have a laugh and being again around the academy and doing my job. So it was tough the first 3 weeks, but it's important that when no one's ever had a time like this before. It's important that we sort of learn, and that's what I've tried to do: listen, read things, watch things, to improve my coaching. So I put on a couple of Zoom calls with our academy boys, just to, one to get to know some of them a little bit more, our new boys, but also, to make sure that the boys are, they're happy, they're well, that they're not struggling with the fact that they're not able to play football. Some of the boys are training 4 or 5 times a week, playing 2 matches. All of a sudden, they're not doing anything, and it's very different. So it's been difficult to do my job for sure. It's important that we just sort of sit tight, and hopefully soon enough we'll be able to sort of get back to some sort of normality. But in the meantime, it's about planning. I've done lots of planning, and I say as much as you can by sitting indoors or sitting on a computer. There is that side of coaching, so it's important that you don't waste that time. I did probably for the first 3 weeks sat in front of Netflix, and but after that, it's important that you get going and really sort of plan towards next season as much as you can.
As a goalkeeper coach, do you watch a lot of football, like the Premier League and foreign leagues, to try to get some tips?
Yeah, part of while I've been in lockdown, I've tried to watch as many games as possible, downloading them for not obviously there's any live football, but I probably watched about 40 games over lockdown: Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, and Serie A, Champions League, just to look at the best goalies around the world and what they do. It's a great tool for me, but it's also a great tool for learning for the goalkeepers as well. And if I can send a couple of clips over to them, and what do you think about this idea, or what about this little technique that a goalkeeper's using? If that helps a player and helps me, then that is certainly a great way.
Are you giving any advice, tips on to your goalkeepers?
Yeah, we're trying to be in regular contact with, say, with the academy boys and with the first team. Speak to Craig and Sam as much as possible. Sometimes it's not about tips really; it's just checking how they're doing. There's only so much you can do training in the back garden or training with your parents for the younger ones. You know, sometimes it's actually nice to have that little bit of a. Well, it's not nice to have the break because we'd rather be playing, but you know, take time not to keep your fitness up for sure, but you don't have to be doing loads and loads of goalkeeping, or you know, you just use this time for other things. I know I have certainly.
Are you well, not happy, but like, is it good to have this time off football, or do you just want to get straight back into it?
I think I'm ready to get straight back in. I didn't want it to stop. When it stopped, I thought we were doing well, and obviously I've certainly missed football. Football is obviously a massive part of my life, so it's been difficult without it. I'm ready to get going again for sure. So the sooner we can get some sort of normality and get back and start of pre-season, that'd be great. But again, at the same time, we've had to make the most of a bad situation. You know, we're still very fortunate that I'm very fortunate that I'm healthy, and everyone that I know has remained healthy during this time. And it's you know, so it's important that we have some perspective sometimes, because we want to play football. You know, we all want to go out and kick a ball about, or train, or play games, watch games on the telly. But that will come. It will come, and hopefully sooner rather than later.
Jake,
Have you been setting any of the goalkeepers any work to do over this time?
Yeah. So privately, my MGW coaching, I put together a booklet which was sent out to the goalkeepers that I work with on a private basis, or come to our weekly goalkeeper sessions. Some of our academy boys have had some weekly and daily challenges set by Callum, our other goalkeeper coach. So not really goalkeeper challenges, more fitness ones, just to get them ticking over. I think it's been a great time for some of them, and that they would admit that too, that they can work on their fitness and the physical side of their game rather than the technical and the tactical side. So that's what we've done really. We haven't thrown too many goalkeeper drills and stuff like that at them. It's a chance for them to look at themselves and maybe come up with some ideas and targets to improve themselves, not just on the football pitch, but say away from it, in maybe what they do in the gym, or how they keep their fitness up. So yeah.
George, have you got anything else to say?
Yeah, is it as a goalkeeper? Is it goalkeeper coach? Is it important to keep fit for you?
Yeah, it is, and I probably could be fitter, you know. And I've been trying over this time to do it as well. You spend a lot of time, slightly different from coaching, because you spend a lot of time striking balls, you know, in the session. Whereas if you're just maybe an outfield coach, you're not necessarily getting involved as much in the session. So it's important that you can do that. You know, you've got to have, there's a level of quality you've got to put into the session. You know, you've got to be trying to replicate scenarios of strikers in the National League, which is difficult because the National League is a good league with some great players in. So, but you certainly have to have a level of fitness to be able to put on the sessions that you want to. Yeah.
Okay, I'm all out. What about you, Jake?
I'm all out, George, as well.
All right, go on, Jake.
Go on, you bring it to a close.
All right, thank you for coming on today. It's been amazing to talk to you about goalkeeping and everything to do with it. Jake, you got anything else to add?
Thank you. Just thank you for coming on, and stay safe.